This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Hi, Cam.
What's up, man?
I got to tell you something, man. I'm going to look for a new career. You know, this one's gone really well for me, but I was thinking I can be a betting liaison for NFL players. You know, they, can have some burner phones and then send me, a text, and I can lay the bets for them instead. And, just I charge a service fee per bet, and that's it. What do you think about that? If I start a business like that, would that be profitable?
It probably would be, but the problem is at some point somebody's going to find out. That's the way this league works.
Yeah, but guess what? I'm not the one that's going to get in trouble.
That is true.
I'm not the one. You're the one that said to bet. I'm doing legally. I'm not in the NFL. You are. No, right. But seriously, I was reading Jonathan Jones' quote, and I hope an agent, a leader, somebody sits down with the young man and explains to him the macro, of the big picture of all of this, because, some people think, well, the NFL is in bed with betting corporations. Yeah, but they're not betting. The NFL is collecting revenue from them, which they're sharing with the players. So the players are already winning in the gambling game because everybody's going to get a little piece of that pie. So nobody's gambling in the NFL. Like I'm saying, the league itself, they're just collecting revenue from that. And, I explained like this, like you and me, we live by different rules. But when you're a writer, which you've been, so let me ask you something. The Dolphins come into the press room, right? They say, hey, guys, we're going to give the media, everybody a jersey. So is Joe Schad walking away with a jersey there, Cam Wolfe?
I'm not sure what the reference is. What did Joe do?
My point is he can't accept gifts.
Oh, yes, correct. No, he can't accept gifts. None of us can accept gifts. I think it's a $25 limit that way we work. So
right. That's what they gave you at the NFL Network, $25.
Yeah, I think it's about a $25 limit. So you can take a
$10
or $20 Starbucks gift card or something of that sort, but no, not a jersey.
Right. So in radio, right, we can accept anything, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, we're complete whores.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or on my show, if they want to give me stuff, hey, I'll take it. I don't care. It's not really going to alter me the way I think or whatever. I'm going to be me no matter what. So That doesn't matter. But my point is, rules are rules, dude.
Yeah.
So when you become a writer, hey, everybody else is getting the free gift and you're not, bro. I was in the 06 championship covering the Heat, and I was in Dallas and drenched in champagne and all that. And then when it was over, the Heat went to us and said, hey, guys, we want to give you guys, a gift. And they gave me a Wheaties box with the 2006 team and everything. Everybody signed it. Yeah. And I happily took it. Do you think Ira Winderman walked away with the Wheaties box?
No.
No, you can't. The Sun Sentinel doesn't allow you. The Herald doesn't allow you. The Palm Beach Post doesn't allow you to accept gifts. No gift.
Right.
Not $1. Not a $5 gift card at anything. Nothing, bro. They can't accept jack shit. That's the way it goes. And so if the NFL is asking you not to bet on the league, period, and then they're asking you, listen, you want to bet on other sports? It's fine. Just go away from the facility, bro.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. It's not that hard. If you need to go make a bet, go ahead and do it, but go away from the facility. You go away for lunch. Some of you drive off for lunch or whatever. Then, bro, go take a little, zip around the neighborhood and make your bet, and then come back, and you're fine, and you're in the clear. So how far is this problem running? How deep it is? Because Schefter says maybe other guys are going to get nailed. From this.
I do think that a part of this process, just kind of like from looking in from my perspective, is education, right? I know from my perspective, we go through the same testing and kind of policies that I think the NFL players do to an extent. And a lot of it's, you got to go online, do sort of a little class and say, hey, you don't gamble here, click this. And the reality is most of these players probably just do this and don't pay much attention. You know, like many of us, if we have a test or we have some type of survey to do online, or you got to do a driving school because you don't have
an
too many tickets.
an agent do boy is doing the
Yeah,
test for you, by
exactly.
the
So
way.
you're just clicking through. You're a lot of times you're not really paying attention to the realities of it, and so that is their fault. But also when it comes to this type of stuff, a lot of them I think just don't know. They don't know what they can and can't do. Like you're seeing some dudes, especially the dudes who get popped for gambling in their, the car of the parking lot of the facility or something like that on a non-NFL sport. Like clearly they're not trying to rig the game, but they just don't know. And so hopefully, and some guys are going to be sacrificial lambs this year because of it, but hopefully this big span of guys getting suspended is a wake-up call for everyone and sort of forces everyone to look at the rules and educate themselves on the policy, because the policy is what it is. Like, I could complain about it, the players complain about it, the coaches complain about it, but that's the NFL policy. And if you want to work for the NFL, this is the policy that you have to follow. Now, education is another part of it. I do think that'll help. And then eventually, I do think that gambling will become more pervasive, that it'll become something, not maybe to a perspective where NFL players will be able to bet on their game, but maybe they'll relax some of the rules as far as other sports. But as for now, figure out what the rules are, figure out how to abide by them, and don't get yourself suspended. And a lot of that has to come through other people's hard lessons, other people getting suspended for you to see sometimes.
I was talking. I posted it on Twitter last night and or this morning actually, and I talked about it today on the show. And I know we're all waiting to see the video. I know we're all waiting to kind of get all the information. But one of the things that you can do, not like Trump, where you open your mouth and you're constantly burying yourself. But you could do what you're a little young for it, but about 20 years ago, Michael Irvin was accused. You might have seen it in history, but he was accused about, they said he was with some whore and cocaine and all this kind of stuff. And he was like vehemently like denying it, like, I'm innocent. I wasn't doing it. You guys are wrong, this, that. And that's it. He didn't give any details. He just said, I'm innocent. And he was proven right. And then he came back after the media and said, hey, do it with the same kind of energy, clear my name with the same kind of energy, and by the way, it's kind of happening to him again, where it looks like he's getting screwed, and he will be cleared again on this one eventually, I think. But my point is, the silence by Drew Rosenhaus on Channel 7 on Sunday night, Tyreek has, it had to be said, podcast, and you could easily do that, or on Twitter say, hey, when all the evidence comes out, you'll see I am innocent. I did not do anything. That has not been said by the agent or the player at any point whatsoever. And to me, as we keep hearing about this, and I know we're still waiting for it to all come out, man, I'm not feeling good about this. I'm not feeling good about this. And because of the track record, I'm afraid he's going to get it at least a game some point. I don't know if it'll happen early in the season or later on in the season or what, because I don't know legally when they're going to solve this. But God, I'm not feeling good about this situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd imagine you're not alone, as far as Dolphins fans. It's, the reality is it's an unnecessary distraction, unnecessary headache. A lot of times, I think I've told you before, this June and July period where the players are on break, the hope for all coaches is just nobody get in trouble. Everybody just do what you do, stay quiet. I don't want to see your name pop up, don't want to hear from you. And so, regardless of what exactly happened, I wasn't there. There's going to be police reports, videos that show exactly what happened. Clearly, there was something that happened. And Tyreek was not innocent completely. And so the reality is, they have to deal with the consequences now, Tyreek and his team. And clearly, they've chosen the route of, we're going to try to let it blow by and deal with it as it goes. Clearly, they say, hey, they're not going to take the Michael Irvin route. They're going to say, hey, whatever happens, and we'll deal with it from there. But for the Dolphins,
don't take the Trump route. Whatever you do, don't take the Trump route. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead.
So yeah, but for the overall team perspective, obviously, there's been some some reports out there that the league has already started investigating. The league has already asked for interviews and statements and police reports. And so the reality is, regardless of whether he has any legal consequences, like there's a real possibility that happens in these cases where the cases are dropped, whether it becomes a civil issue or some type of settlement, or if it's just dropped altogether. A lot of times that's how these situations end up. Not saying that's how
But that won't matter to the NFL.
But the NFL has shown in precedent that they don't need a person to be convicted of something for them to be potentially punished.
Yeah,
And
behavior is behavior. They don't care about the legal result because that may not address the behavior. In other words.
Right. And to me, that's probably the situation that Dolphins fans are concerned about. Now, I will say the league is typically taking their time on these situations. And so I'm not sure that this would be something that would affect him in this season, the 2023 season. But it is something that,
unless there's a quick settlement,
maybe, yeah.
Unless they want to avoid because if I'm him, I do want to avoid a court case, because then it's going to, then this is a story that drags on for 2 years.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And you may want to just squash it, end it, put it away already, pay the guy off a hell of a lot more than 200, and then just move on. Let me tell you what really pisses me off about all of this. Tyreek was perfect up until this point. He handled everything beautifully since he got here, bro. The people, the media, kids, his store, the buzz, the energy on the field, the vibe, everything was perfect, dude. And you had a couple of wrinkles in the past, so you're trying to put them away. And that's, to me, the worst part about this incident, because in the end, once we see the video, I don't even think it's going to be that bad. You know what I mean? But okay, so you slap the guy in the back of the head. Okay, we can move on. But the problem is now they lump in everything else you did, and then it's like you haven't learned and you haven't grown up, and so now everybody now will treat you with caution instead of just pure embrace right from the get-go. And to me, that's the part that he's going to feel now. Now he's going to feel how the public, maybe even sponsors and people, treat him a little differently than they did prior to this. And that's because this incident ends up kind of bringing up everything else. And to me, that's the frustrating part, because, brother, he was handling things, I don't know, as perfect as you can possibly handle them, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think the reality is, like, one, I say this, like, none of us are perfect. Like, we all kind of make mistakes in different realms. But obviously, as a pro athlete, as a public figure, like, you're held to a higher standard, and there's more eyeballs on you. And so sometimes it's just a situation of, don't put yourself in situations that you can get yourself in trouble, right? Like, the average person may have done what Tyreek did, and it may not be a big deal, but because it's Tyreek, it becomes a bigger deal. That's all fair and fine, and you could say, hey, it's not fair, but you're Tyreek Hill. That's what comes with being a NFL player. So it becomes with having that status and the money and everything that the situation requires. And so I think you're right. You're right. Whether fair or unfair, there are going to be a lot of people who say, hey, this is the same old Tyreek, bring up old stuff, and it'll hurt his image, at least in some avenue. And so that's part of the consequences of getting yourself in any type of situation. So I hope it all gets cleared up and he can kind of move on and have the rest of his career. But it probably is a little bit more of a wake up call for him that hey, it's not all fine and dandy. I gotta make sure I'm clean and keep my image clean. Especially, like I think I mentioned to you before, Tyreek obviously he's done a lot as a football player, but he's trying to create a brand of himself past football. He's doing a lot with the Soul Runner brand, which is his clothing line. He's doing a lot with the podcast, with this wide receiver sort of school that he's having for players and college and NFL players. He's trying to create a lane outside of football. And a lot of times some of that is more image-based than football is. So I think it's very important for him to try to reestablish who he is as a person and what his image is. And obviously this doesn't help.
Yeah, no, man. It just it sucks, dude. It really sucks. And I'm not looking forward to the rest of this. Although You tell me that maybe, this drags on legally. At least maybe it doesn't happen this season and you can kind of put it off. But again, it will linger. And, Mike McDaniel now is going to have to answer these questions, and Tua is going to have to answer these questions, and other teammates and it's just something you don't need, bro. With all the buzz with this team, I got to tell you, I've been covering this team for a long time and obviously following it since I was a kid. This is the best team since the early 90s. Okay. And this team might be better than those early 90s teams. They have to literally go out and prove it. But this is like the best team they've had since the early 90s.
Right.
And I don't want anything to derail it, because this fan base hasn't had, a lot of success lately, So it's like these fans deserve it, bro.
Yeah,
We're
definitely,
watching.
definitely a big period of optimism for Dolphins fans, and a lot of reason why. So I hope, my big thing when I cover sports, whether it's the Dolphins, whether it's any other team I cover in the NFL, I don't root for teams, but I root for people. I root for stories, and honestly, I root to cover things that are more positive than negative. Generally,
For sure.
that makes my job more enjoyable.
Yes.
I will do my job wherever it takes me, whether it takes me to a Cincinnati hospital where I'm talking about a guy who may or may not live after
Right.
being on the football field for a week, or whether I'm talking about a dude throwing 5 touchdowns. But I don't enjoy particularly the negative, the legal issues. And so I'd prefer if it's all I talked about with the Dolphins was whether they achieved their lofty goals, or whether Tua stayed healthy, or all these different things, rather than Tyreek's smack of somebody by the head or slap or whatever it was. But the reality is you got to cover what is in front of you. And Tyreek's one of the biggest players in the league, and he's doing something that gets him in legal trouble. We've got to talk about it, and he's really forced our hand with that. And so, hopefully, this will be more of a one-time thing as far as the off season. Because trust me, I would much rather spend my off season hanging with my family than talking about the legal happenings that happen in the middle of June and July.
I always challenge fans on that, because they think, "Oh, this is bad. This is great for your business," and I most of the time tell them, "No, it sucks, bro. This part sucks," because they
Yeah,
don't want to talk about bad shit, and I don't want to talk about bad shit. This isn't fun, dude. Fun is walking into a locker room when guys are high fiving each other and they're laughing, and bro, they will answer any of your questions. Walking in after a loss, that's not fun. I've done it. I've walked in after losing games, losing a playoff game, losing a championship, whatever. Bro, that ain't fun, dude.
yeah.
That's not fun.
That is true, but honestly, I don't mind covering. I would rather covering losing football than
No, I get
off
it,
the
but
field
I'm just telling
destruction.
you the
You know?
simple shit like losing
Yes,
is not
correct.
fun. I'm just telling
Yeah.
you, just the simple shit of losing is not
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
Can you imagine some guy beating his wife, or some guy, caught doing something wrong, this, that, what, a fight, whatever, and bro, none of that shit is fun, bro. None of
Correct.
that is. We don't. Most. Well, I won't say all, because you and I know that we have a small percentage of media members that actually live for that shit.
Hmm.
We got to be honest, okay? But I will tell you, 95% of us want to cover good shit.
Yeah.
95% of us want to walk in and talk about a victory and a good practice. We don't want to even talk about the guy that blew out his knee and what it means to the entire team.
Yeah.
That they're one of their lead stars blew out. You have no idea how it deflates a locker room, and how it just, you don't want to talk about those things. We have to sometimes, we have to do it and all that. I get that, but most of us don't look forward to that kind of shit. It's not fun. It's not
Right.
fun. It's just not. All right. What do you got going on? You just chilling?
Yeah, man. I'm leaving Orlando. Did Universal and Disney this week with the wife, and so I'm heading back to Miami today, and
All
I'll
right.
be around this weekend and working again. Um, for the
Favorite
week.
new
So,
experience that
what
you've
do you
been
say?
to? Favorite new? You probably rode something new. You saw something new. You tasted something new.
Yeah.
Favorite new Cameron Wolfe experience in the Disney area?
Universal was awesome. I had never done
Universal.
Universal before, and so riding the Velocicoaster. My wife's been trying to get me to say that right. Velocicoaster. Hagrid was pretty dope. That
Okay.
ride. The Hulk was pretty cool. Some of the other Harry Potter rides, like tried Butterbeer again for a couple times. That was pretty cool.
Did you enjoy
So yeah,
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man was cool. Yeah, it was
I
more
like
of a
it.
3D, 4D ride, but that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. So yeah, I've done Disney a few times, so there's always cool new happenings with Disney. I did the Guardians ride for the first time. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
And so that's a new one for Disney. The other ones I've done before. But it's always good to be out here, be a kid a little bit. It's our 5th year anniversary on Saturday, so we kind of did a little turning back the clock for kiddom as far as on the theme park. So that's our happenings this week, and then I get back to work next week.
All right. So I had a question for you, but Cap for Life just erased it. He erased it on mine. Cap for Life, how come it got erased? Did you erase the question? All right. I thought he had a question for you. You still have it there? But if he erased it, because on yours it doesn't erase, but on mine it did. So if he erased it, I'm going to respect it and say that he didn't want to, he backed away and doesn't want to ask it. So we will leave it at that. Cam, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up next week. Drive safely home.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch up next week, my friend. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too, man. Sounds good.
You got it. There you go. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.